So what I have our team doing today that's really killing it with outbound is they're still doing the same old principle of sequencing. So what we're doing is we're sequencing about 25 to 30 people per day. However, using our own product warmly with AI Prospector, the reps are only having to manually add 10 or 15 a day because another 10 or 15 are done through AI Prospector. So if I go in warmly, AI Prospector, if they fall into this bucket of they're in SaaS, they're not an active deal, they're not a competitor, they're not a closed one deal, and they're on the site for more than 10 minutes or 10 seconds, and they're not a Gmail, it's going to find those people. Here's a couple examples, and then it's going to enrich it through our Apollo connection, and it's going to push it to the sequence, and then I round robin that to different reps. So I have this workflow for Terrence, and I have another workflow built out, and that goes to Mariana, right? So what they're doing is they're going in for the low-hanging fruit of using, our 6 Sense integration with Warmly, who's been on the site, basically who's been on the site recently, and a lot. They'll then go in and they'll use this in intent to add those people to sequence. Then they'll go to that account level and add more people to sequence. So we're using a low-hanging fruit of who was on our site at X company, and then let's go to that company and add more people based on the personas that we go after to sequence. That's how we're doing the account-based sequencing. Well, that's just the outreach side of things. Then what reps are doing is going into sales flow. And that's where they're also sequencing similar messaging, but more in texting format, because like LinkedIn messaging is more chill. And so what they're doing is reiterating that message, very similar message, just in a little different way to the people that are outreaching to via email and calling, right? We're adding them to a sequence that complements that in sales flow. That's why it's called outreach prospects in sequence, is they're getting hit via email and calling, right, from outreach.io, and then they're getting hit from Salesflow, which is all LinkedIn. They're getting hit with a similar messaging that complements each other, and even references like been sending a couple emails, been calling, etc. But what's different is people just think, oh, cool, I just do these channels and I'm good. No, the reason we're getting so many meetings booked over email is we're not sending boring emails or boring messages. We're sending messages that have like these dynamic videos, and so these dynamic videos basically make it seem like you're personalizing it to your prospect. I actually have an example. I think if you go into one of the creative emails we have, right, and so this is an example of a dynamic video. It looks just like a normal video, but it's personalizing at scale because this is what they see on their end. It's personalized by the company we're reaching out to on their website, right? And we're able to do that because SendSpark, we're uploading that targeted list into here, and then it's scraping their email domains, the domains attached to the email, and then mimicking their main website or web page in the video preview. So it's making it more, more likely for people to click. It's piquing their interest more, and it's standing out as a pattern breaker. So that's how we're standing out with our emails. So we're winning a lot with emails because we send videos, because we send GIFs, and we send tutorials, which leads to my next point. And our sales flow messaging, we're doing very similar stuff. We're doing a little bit more GIFs, because it's, again, LinkedIn messaging is a lot like texting. It's casual. It doesn't need to be as formal. So what you're seeing is, for example, he's sending a tutorial right here. And he has emojis in the messaging and so forth, but we're sending a tutorial, which is basically an overview of the platform. We're not trying to hide what we do here. What we're trying to do is really pique interest and get higher engagement so people want to take the time to dive in deeper and really evaluate us further down the funnel, right? So we're taking the guesswork out of what Warmly does for you by kind of sending them these teaser previews via video, or just giving them the whole package in a tour. So we're sending that type of messaging in LinkedIn, and then you're seeing we're sending GIFs, we're sending videos as well, whereas then email is a little bit more formal, more customer references that we're sending, and then we're sending a lot more what seems to be personalized videos. So again, both of our messaging on both fronts are pattern breakers, different. They're not boring. And that's what's helping us is we're using intent, we're targeting based off of that. Then our emails stand out, again, with the dynamic videos and the customer references. And then our LinkedIn is complementing what we're sending to those folks that we're emailing, because it's, similar messaging, different format, and then we're sending different type of clickable content, like different tutorials and different videos, GIFs. So it's complementing, and it's an ambiance, kind of like you're in a surround sound studio. So you're hearing the whole movie. Like when you go to the movie theaters, You sometimes go to movie theaters and you remember like when you leave, like, oh man, this movie was better in theaters because I could really hear the rumbling. That's what we're creating with our outbound motion. And we're doing it with the leaders as well, because we're also messaging as leaders on top of what the reps are messaging to say, hey, I know my team's reaching out. Here's from an executive level, here's what we do. And here's how we solve for your pains, because I know you're an executive as well. So that's kind of what we're doing for our outbound that's really, really working. And what's great is it's creating this demand, and they're coming to our website. Well, when they come to our website, what do they get greeted with? They get greeted with that chatbot. Once we create all this demand and we go to the website, now we're capturing people another way because we've added to the omnichannel approach. A lot of people think you can just capture all this demand and get all these meetings from just cold calling, emailing, and then the LinkedIn. You're still missing probably 20% of those people that come to your website. That's why we have Warmly, we use it ourselves. So when they come on the site, chatbot and the AI chat initiates the conversation. We get a couple bites. The rep gets alerted that via Slack, jumps in and does a live call and takes over the conversation. This is how we're winning. Having a combination of omnichannel approach, complementing the messaging through the omnichannel approach, and referencing the other attempts to reach out through email and LinkedIn. And in an email, we're saying, here's customers that use us, and hey, might have hit you up on LinkedIn. And then when they go to the website to do their own preliminary research, we're going to be able to capture their attention right here as well with the chat. Good. So I know what's working best because I track it. So this is overall our high level, like from a bird's eye view. Here's where we're getting our meetings: LinkedIn, inbound, email, referrals, conference, chatbot, like Warmly, and then cold calling. And then there's a little bit of no value, and that comes down to like a lot of marketing correlated stuff outside of just inbound. But if you break it down, I actually go granular, and you can see founders LinkedIn versus outbound regular, like reps using LinkedIn. Then you have email sequence, like not using Warmly, and then you have email personalized manual, and then you have let's see, another one would be email sequence with a video, right? So we're breaking it down to be more granular. One, I just like to see all the different possible methods we're using for outbound. Two, this is great as you build out the team more and they're new, they're gonna be like, well, where do I begin? I'm gonna reference this data point and be like, you could start anywhere. Here's where I recommend, because we're seeing a lot of people get success on LinkedIn, but you could be the rep that crushes it for emails with videos. And all these channels work, just some work better than others. So don't tell me as a rep that's doing outbound like nothing's working, because until you've tried all of these, and you truly haven't exhausted the list of ways to do outbound.
Got it.
We're doing an omnichannel approach, but a lot of companies are just saying, hey, here's our total addressable market. Here's our ICP, go get them. We're only targeting on intent. So we're narrowing it down to the people that actually are looking at our competitors, might be looking for solutions we integrate with and work with towards a solution that they're trying to solve for their sales team or marketing team, or they're directly looking at us. So we're looking at those different forms of intent. If we're reaching out to someone that's not showing that intent, it's based off of signals like job changes, or this org's growing and they're trying to make changes, right? That's another type. That was what I would call signal-based intent. That's different. But we're really not going after all the rest of the TAM that we could be. That doesn't care what we all have to offer or what we're doing, because they're not looking at that or anything close to that right now. So we're going where most sales teams go like this. This is how I started my career. It was hard, but I was able to do it. But it's even harder now. We're focusing on this. So we're having a lot more wins because we're creating a lot more noise in that smaller market.